Good morning to you guys all here. Happy Monday, April 28th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And today is the big day, guys. Here we are expecting what could be a significant tornado outbreak, basically from the Texas Panhandle all the way up into portions of the Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin line there. It is going to be a really, really rough day in terms of severe weather. We've had a pretty big uptrend this morning with our short-range models, as I was talking about the last couple of days here. Just a little bit of inconsistency with model trends. And when you look at severe weather setups like we're going to have today, you have to go based off of what the atmosphere is giving you on the morning of, and today is definitely giving us that confidence that we need to give us a signal for a significant tornado outbreak. So I'm really going to just discuss today in this video. I'll briefly run over risk zones for the next couple of days, but we're really just going to talk about today. I'm going to try and make this video as quick as I can to get this out to you guys. I will let you guys know as now we are going to be starting our live stream at between noon and 1 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. We're going to be live both on YouTube and on TikTok. We'll be giving you guys a whole day of coverage today from start to finish with this whole severe weather threat. We'll also be covering tomorrow. We'll be covering on Wednesday and on Thursday as well, if there is anything on Thursday. So what you guys got going on here on your screen is the upper water vapor imagery, your IR satellite imagery here, and you can see our big trough here in place. Actually, our low pressure system is just now getting ready to round the base here into the North Dakota, South Dakota line, and you can see our warm front already placed up here to the north, allowing for dew points to rise this morning, instability continuing to be there. We are a very, very cleared out atmosphere this morning out in front of this here. So a dry line setup. It is a very, very sticky, it is a muggy day across the plains, the Midwest there, all the way down into the southern plains. It feels like a tornado day. If you guys are down there today, it's definitely going to feel like that. Instability, dew points, temperatures are all going to be up there. It's going to feel gross and muggy. It's your typical end of April tornado setup. So I want you guys to please take this video today very seriously. Take what I'm giving you guys very seriously. There's a lot of people in doubt that they're in risk zones, that they're not going to see anything. Some people will see storms. Some people may not be seeing storms. But if you're in a risk zone, you need to be ready to go today for significant severe weather, because today the atmosphere is very volatile. The Storm Prediction Center has used the word volatile multiple times in their wording. We have the threat for long track, intense, strong tornadoes, extremely large hail, and significant damaging winds over 80 miles per hour. Some of our tornadoes today, guys, could be over EF3 plus status in terms of where our higher risk zones are at. So I will mention as well, guys, the risk zones are going to update again at 11:30 this morning and at 3 o'clock this afternoon. There is a chance that a high risk could still be on the table. I think it's very low, but I can't rule it out. There's also a chance that our moderate risk gets bigger, that level 4 out of 5, and some risk zones get bigger here. So we're going to go in depth and talk about that. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an overall idea of what we're looking at this morning. It is clearing out across our risk zone areas for today. We are going to start to see convection as soon as potentially lunchtime today, all the way through the overnight hours tonight. So we'll go ahead and dive into this video here, talk about what's going to happen. Like I said, guys, please share this video out today. Let people know. Let's be weather aware. Today is not a day that you want to mess around and find out. These storms are going to be absolutely volatile today in terms of where they do fire off at. So we'll go ahead and break out of this. I do appreciate y'all for watching this always. If you will like the video and leave a comment if you guys have any questions, and we'll get into it. Alrighty, and here's our Storm Prediction Center outlook as of 8 o'clock this morning Central Time here for April 28th, 2025. Yes, this is real, guys. This is not fake. I don't know why some people think it is, but it's not. This is a real outlook here. But I want to go ahead and mention the biggest updates that we had is a little bit of a shift south in the moderate risk this morning, and a enhanced risk that has been added now for wind and for hail, and possibly a strong tornado risk down in western Oklahoma. As I mentioned to you guys yesterday, that was going to be possibly on the table. So those are the two upgraded or updated versions of this risk zone since yesterday, since we were on stream and since yesterday's video would be made. I wouldn't be shocked to see this moderate risk once again be issued as far down as southern or as far as northern Missouri and the rest of Iowa. I think confidence this morning, like I said, is increasing in storm coverage, meaning that any storms that can fire off that are discrete today will have the chance for a violent, long track, intense tornado, and that is a significant EF3 plus tornado potentially on the table, maybe even EF4 plus if it needs to be, if that risk zone gets a little bit higher. So like I said, nevertheless though, guys, we have a level 4 risk out of 5 here for southern portions and southeastern portions of Minnesota, pretty much most of Wisconsin here, and northern portions of Iowa. Like I said, I think a big expansion will be needed here pretty soon. We've also got an enhanced risk outside of that there for pretty much all of Wisconsin, pretty much majority of central and southern Minnesota, eastern portions of South Dakota, southeastern portions of Nebraska, including Omaha. We've also got northeast Kansas there, and northwestern portions of the Missouri area, including Kansas City, northwestern Illinois, and pretty much all of Iowa. And then another enhanced risk that's been added this morning that basically goes from north central portions of Texas back to western Oklahoma. Slight risk in the level 2, level 1 risk in the dark green there. So it goes 1, it goes 2, it goes 3, and then it goes 4, and hopefully we don't get a high risk today, but I can't rule it out. especially with the models that we're seeing this morning. Here's the tornado risk. I want to mention first, the biggest changes are that 10% hatch tornado risk that has been added down here to western Oklahoma. We could see a strong EF2 plus tornado or a couple of those down here into western Oklahoma later on tonight as our dry line sets up. We've also got a 10% and a 15% hatch tornado risk, meaning the threat for long track, violent, intense tornadoes up here pretty much for most of Minnesota, pretty much the whole state of Wisconsin, including Milwaukee and Green Bay, up to mostly all of Iowa here and northwestern portions of Illinois. This is a significant day. I expect PDS tornado watches to be issued later on this afternoon. That's particularly dangerous situation, meaning the threat for a volatile atmospheric tornado outbreak is going to be on the table for this event today. We've also got, outside of those hatched risk zones, we've got a 5% and a 2%. Do not sleep on those 5% and 2% tornado risk, guys. We saw a huge 2-mile wide tornado last night in western Nebraska in a 5% tornado risk. It seems to be the 5% tornado risk are just known for doing stuff like this. So we need to be watching all risk zones, whether you're in a 2 all the way up to a 15% hatch. It does not matter. You need to be tornado aware. You need to be weather ready. That extends all the way down through southern Kansas, back into Kansas City here and into Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, you're in the 5%. Norman, you're in the 2%/5%. Tulsa, 2%. And then down towards Wichita Falls, Lubbock, and Fort Stockton, where there's a 2 and a 5%. So you guys can see the degree of tornado parameters today are very, very high. We have probably some of the most highest tornado parameters that we've had this year. So definitely a volatile atmospheric setup today. We're going to have a very strong LLJ, a low-level jet that's going to be in place to help ramp up that tornado threat. Wind threat, not too bad today. We do have a 30%, 15 and a 5. Anybody that is in risk zones today for wind, which is pretty much the whole entire area here, will have the chance to see winds of up to 75 miles per hour. If for some reason the Storm Prediction Center hatches this area, which I could see happening, this could be winds higher than 75 miles per hour if that does in fact get hatched. And we'll talk about that on the stream this afternoon if that happens. We've also got a pretty big hail threat. The biggest changes as well, that 30% hatched hail risk that was added. Guys, we could see hail in this whole entire hatched region here. Basically, the whole black outlined area here of hail up to 2+ inches in diameter. I wouldn't rule out 4+ inch diameter hail as well if confidence continues to increase with these discrete supercells. Outside of that hatched region, the 15 and the 5% there, we could see hail up to 1 and 2 inches in diameter. So once again, today is a tornado-driven moderate risk. I cannot say that enough. Like I said, some of you guys are going to see storms. Some of you guys might get missed out. If you get missed out on a storm, praise Jesus, because you do not want to be where these storms are going to be firing off today. I really think that someone's not going to get lucky today, and sadly, we're probably going to end up seeing some not great things happen today. It's just how the atmosphere plays out. Hopefully, we can keep things at bay. Hopefully, we can keep things at minimal. But the atmosphere, guys, this is one of the most volatile setups we've had all year, and we've had too high risk prior to this year. Today looks a lot worse than a lot of these other setups. Just everything kind of coming together. There's a couple of things that could allow for some what's the word here, for some downtrends potentially, or for things not to unfold, and that would be something along the lines of like dry air intrusion. There's just a lot of things. We'll talk more about that on the stream this afternoon to kind of give you guys an update on that. But nevertheless, big time outbreak today. We'll talk about the models here in just a second. Tomorrow we have another risk zone, guys. We're not done after today. We do have a level 3 enhanced risk, basically up here for Buffalo, New York, Rochester, Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, portions of eastern and central Ohio, and the level 3 risk there. And then we've got a slight risk that extends all the way down here into Texas, and then a marginal risk outside of that. I would not be shocked to see when this updates today a level 3 enhanced risk for hail back down here into Oklahoma and northern Texas. I wouldn't also be shocked to see the wind risk get extended back down here into Indiana and Illinois for a level 3 enhanced risk as well. So just some things that I'm kind of tweaking that we could potentially see upgraded here. Nevertheless, though, tornado risk is not that high tomorrow, guys. We do have a 2% tornado risk for Tulsa back down to Oklahoma City tomorrow for Tuesday, and then Fort Still, Norman area, and then back down here into southwestern Oklahoma and in the Midland. So 2% tornado risk. Do be mindful of that. And then a 2% tornado risk up here into eastern and central Ohio, back up into northwestern Pennsylvania and western New York there, including Buffalo and Rochester. So would see probably some tweaks to the tornado risk too going through the day today. We'll just kind of see what the Storm Prediction Center does on that. We've also got a wind threat here at 30%. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked to see that enhanced risk get extended more down south here, west here with a wind threat, but 30% chance of seeing damaging winds of 75 miles per hour, 15% in the yellow, 5% in the maroon. The hail threat is the biggest thing. We do have a hatched hail risk over here for Texas and western Oklahoma. Once again, Oklahoma City, you're in that. Norman, you're in that. Hail up to 2 to 3 inches in diameter. Same applies up here to Columbus, Wayne, Cleveland. It's not very often we get these hatched hail risks up here into eastern, central, and western Ohio / Pennsylvania. So be very, very mindful. Keep your cars covered up. Keep them in garages. Keep them under areas where, put a tarp, put something over it just to kind of protect it. So that's going to be for tomorrow. And then we got a day 3 outlook again. We have a marginal and a slight risk. This is going to be for a new system that's going to be coming in on Wednesday here. Marginal and slight risk here. This doesn't look to be too big of a day. We'll keep you guys updated on this. Dallas, Fort Worth, Wichita, Kansas. I mean, you guys name it here. you're all in that. And then I do expect potentially a day 4 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center to maybe be issued here for Thursday. We'll just kind of wait and see what they do on that. So today is going to be the big day, guys. Like I said, we'll be live covering this event all day today. Here's an idea of what the models are showing. And I mentioned this yesterday in my video and in live streams. Models were not grasping onto this scenario very, very well. And it's going to happen when you have big setups like this. Actually, I don't really remember the last time we've actually seen something like this happen, because most times the models do pretty good with this stuff. But sharp dry lines, some of the models this morning, this is our latest Triple HMR model, kind of gives us an idea of what's going to happen. We're going to see a round of showers and storms about midday today. These could be some hail producers, some isolated wind, maybe a brief tornado. That's not the main event. So if you get storms in Minnesota this afternoon, you're like, that wasn't much of anything. That's not your main event. We're going to have that low pressure come in, and we're going to have supercells that are going to fire off in southern and central Minnesota. You can see those helicity tracks kind of popping up on some of those cells, those rotating, indicating icons that we could be seeing a couple of strong tornadoes. I want to mention this too, guys. The models, I cannot stress this enough, are not showing the 100% potential of what this event could be today. These are model runs. If you look at a model run and you know how to read it, or you don't know how to read it and you're like, there's no storms in my area, I'm going to be fine. Model runs cannot pinpoint 100% on the dot where storms are going to fire off. It gives us an idea of what the setup could look like. So if you're down here in southern Iowa and you're like, where are my storms at? Why am I in a higher risk zone? Am I not going to see anything? No, that's not the case. Storms can fire off when they want to fire off, and where they're going to fire off at is not indicated of what the models are going to see. And you can see by about 6 o'clock this afternoon, we've got a pretty decent area here of supercells. It only takes one of these cells, one of these discrete cells, to develop in this potent and volatile environment that we have in place here, and long track through Wisconsin, long track through Iowa, long track through Minnesota, and it would verify the risk zone in a heartbeat. So that's what I'm getting at. The fact that we're seeing multiple indications here of more discrete supercells than what we were seeing last night and this morning is a big uptrend, and that's going to basically allow for the door to be open for more of a devastating setup, is what I would say, basically. So the good news is, though, the discrete mode shouldn't last too long. We should be looking at about a 6 to 8 hour window. If storms can maintain that longer, that would be, something that's possibly on the table. But it looks to be by about 11 p.m. to midnight. But the majority of the severe weather threats should be mostly over with. Like I said, a mixed bag of different scenarios here. I'll show you guys another scenario here in just a second. But I want to show you guys this as well. Like I said, the tornado parameters today are they're through the roof. You can already see them ongoing right now. This is those parameters working up into Iowa. We're going to have a very, very well set stage for tornado parameters. This is around 6 p.m. Central Time tonight. We are basically maxed out here with our tornado parameters across Wisconsin, southeastern portions of Minnesota, pretty much most of Iowa here. So like I said, this is going to get going pretty quickly, and then this is going to end pretty quickly here. So like I said, a pretty decent shot here of seeing a couple of strong tornadoes, some intense tornadoes, volatile atmospheric setup once again. Here's another model run we're going to go. This is the HRF-V3 model. I like to show this just because it gives us another idea of what could happen today, a little bit of a higher end scenario. You can see multiple long track supercells. This is a scenario that we do not want to see play out. You guys can see how discrete this would be, and this would be devastating if we saw this scenario in play. And this is, like I said, when you're looking at model runs, there's about 26 to 100 different model runs out there that you can look at, and every single one of them is probably going to show something completely different with today's setup, just because the atmosphere is so potent. So that's just how these solutions work. It's a simulation. It's not meant to show 100% what's going to happen. It just gives us an idea on where storms might fire. But you can see, once again, very, very different mini scenarios here. This would, like I said, not be a good situation if this unfolded here. And then we've got another run here. This is our RFS A model run. Just kind of gives us another idea to a potent run here. We'll go to the latest run, and we can see, once again, supercells firing off this afternoon. This would be, once again, not a great scenario here. A little bit less of a discrete mode, but more of a linear mode. And then, yeah, like I said, there's just a different amount of scenarios that are going to be at play for this event today. So I need you guys to be weather aware. I need y'all to be ready to go here. This is going to be a pretty significant long day. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to the plains and kind of give you guys an idea of what's going to be happening here. We can see showers and supercells firing off in southern Missouri around Kansas City. Here, you're like, where are my storms at in Kansas? Some people may see storms, some people may not. The models, like I said, are not holding on to this scenario very, very well. So please, like I said, if you were in a risk zone today, be very, very mindful. You may see storms, you may not see storms. And you can see, actually, going into tomorrow, where we have our secondary risk zone down here into Oklahoma for Tuesday, we'll have more supercell showers and storms firing off down there. So like I said, very, very unstable environment today. This is a volatile per SPC day for the Storm Prediction Center. Using that word means it's an explosive atmosphere, guys. I can't say that enough. These are our tornado parameters this afternoon and this evening down in Oklahoma and Kansas. So like I said, if any storms can become discrete, kind of like we had yesterday in western Nebraska, we could get some pretty bad things to happen out of this today. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Like I said, live stream will start around noon, between noon and 1 p.m. Central Time, depending on when mesoscale gets issued. Other than that, guys, I do appreciate y'all for watching this video. Be safe, be weather aware. We're going to keep you guys today updated. We're going to keep you guys safe as always, and we'll see you guys in the live stream.